this ending is my favorite one. Is, I think, the best one. The most, like, oh, what will happen next? Like, you're just like, I don't know. This is a game changer. Everything is different now.
Okay.
Okay, so I feel like I was giving a lot there.
Sorry,
like...
I spaced. I was looking. Yeah, they did do a dream sequence with Thalia because both of those actresses appear in Sea of Monsters. I was still doing research. Sorry, I wasn't ready. What'd you say?
Hello, mortals, monsters, and myth lovers alike. You're listening to Podcast of Poseidon, where we explore how ancient myths become modern pop culture by reading Rick Riordan's Percy Jackson and the Olympians. This is Chapter 15, The Sea of Monsters. I'm your co-host on loan from the Hunters of Artemis, Darien Smartt. Joining me is my co-host and brother, hailing from Cabin 13, DJ.
How's everybody doing today? If you don't know, Cabin 13 is Hades. He is, he's an okay father. He's not very there. He's not present all too much. Give my brother Nico a fucking zombie chauffeur, but that's pretty cool or whatever. But that aside, welcome to season 2.
Welcome to season 2, everybody. Thanks for coming back after the hiatus. We're glad to be back.
Ooh, it's pretty good to be back. And I'm just excited about this topic.
Yeah, I was about to say, DJ, you excited to talk about Sea of Monsters? This is your favorite one, isn't it?
Second favorite.
Second favorite.
I
the first
like
one
Battle
is...
of the Labyrinth.
That's
Battle
right.
Labyrinth is fucking solid.
You like mazes.
Yes.
We should do a corn maze.
It'll be fun.
Yes. Oh my God. Right. I mean, it's the wrong time of year for corn mazes, but...
Yeah, we'll get there eventually.
We'll get there in the fall.
In the fall. Corn maze, we'll go to the... one of the corn mazes is still functioning. I know one of them shut down this year.
Sure.
Which was a little unfortunate.
We'll find one. We'll find a maze in the air. Before we do that, and before we continue our conversation about the Sea of Monsters, let's swing by the camp store and make sure we have everything we need.
Every month, we at Podcast of Poseidon donate $1 for every patron we have on Patreon to a children's charity.
In honor of Asian American and Pacific Islander Heritage Month, this month we're donating to Asian American Youth Leadership, Empowerment, and Development.
This organization supports low-income and underserved Asian Pacific American youth with educational empowerment, identity development, and leadership opportunities through after-school, summer, and mentoring programs.
We currently have 5 patrons, so we'll be donating an additional $20, bringing our total donation to $25.
Thank you to all our patrons for making this donation possible. Now, on to the show.
All right, DJ, I think we should start by pretending we are a real book review podcast, and I'm going to read the back of the book.
Okay. Got
this fantastic paperback copy of The Sea of Monsters that I purchased when I was in middle school. It was a 3-set of 3 with The Lightning Thief and Titan's Curse, so our listeners can't see it, but you can see it, that this bad boy is just falling apart.
I think that's the one that I read, too.
This is the one you read. This is the one that we all read. Like, this was the copy we have.
Fucking great. I listened to it in classic Davis fashion. I cannot sit down and read anything for the life of me.
Not anymore, no.
Nope. I just fall asleep at the smell of books now. So...
But we respect audiobooks in this podcast.
Audiobooks, and it's pretty solid, too. Oh, gosh. What's the guy's name? Jesse Bernstein. No. Was it Bernstein? I don't even remember. He does a good job at, narrating these books.
You should look it up so we can shout him out. And nobody tweets at us about it.
Yep. It's Jesse Bernstein.
Nice.
Does a great job with narrating. At first, I'm like, that's a little weird, but it grew on me, and I'm like, yeah, that's Percy's voice, at least as a kid.
Nice. So, yeah, this is the original paperback with the...
Original artwork.
The original artwork, yeah. The original U.S. artwork.
Yeah. And, the Sea of Monsters one, that's not so bad. Sea of Monsters one isn't the worst.
I have thoughts, but we will circle back later on in the conversation about my thoughts regarding the cover. But for now, I'm going to read the back.
Yes.
Percy Jackson's 7th grade year has been surprisingly quiet. Not a single monster has set foot on his New York prep school campus. But when an innocent game of dodgeball among Percy and his classmates turns into a death match against an ugly gang of cannibal giants, things get, ugly. And the unexpected arrival of his friend Annabeth brings more bad news. The magical borders that protect Camp Half-Blood have been poisoned by a mysterious enemy, and unless a cure is found, the only safe havens for demigods will be destroyed. That's pretty accurate.
Yeah.
Like, really only covers the first 2.5 chapters. Doesn't really get into the rest. We hear nothing about, like, the Odyssey, the Sea of Monsters, anything like that.
Well, I mean, he doesn't want to, like, this was back when the back was supposed to, like, draw you, you know, not give you spoilers about the book.
Books, they still do that.
Yeah, I know.
I don't think it's a spoiler to say he goes into the Sea of Monsters. That's the title of the book.
Yeah. I just mean, like, oh, yeah, these are the first few chapters. I'm into it. Let's go. I mean, but if you haven't read the first book, there's no reason for you to be reading the next one, so...
I don't know, like, maybe...
And if you read the first book, like, you didn't enjoy it, then why are you even paying attention to the second book?
Okay, but, like, I don't know, maybe your aunt got you this book, having no idea it's part of a series, because she's not, like, paying attention to the cover. And you're like, well, this looks fun, and you read it. Like, maybe that's why.
Yeah, maybe. And you read it, and you're like, oh, I should go back and read the first book.
That doesn't explain so much about the plot. So, DJ, since this is one of your favorite books, why don't you tell us the plot of Percy Jackson's The Sea of Monsters in 2 minutes?
2 minutes? All right,
2 minutes. Ready?
Okay.
And go.
All right, so Percy and his best friend, well, second best friend, Tyson, they go to school together, and Tyson's kind of picked on, but, like, Percy takes pity on him. They get attacked at school. Tyson turns out to be a Cyclops. And then the Anubis shows up and is like, we got to go, hurry. And they go with Tyson to Camp Half-Blood. And then, like, we find out, the magic pine tree that's saving the camp is dying. And then we got to go do a quest. And Chiron is gone because everyone's like, he failed. And so they replace him with this guy, Tantalus. And Tantalus hates Percy. And so it just isn't, like, doing anything. And then, like, let's Clarice go on the quest instead. But Percy doesn't like that, so obviously he rebels. He's like, it's to the Sea of Monsters. I'm the fucking sea guy. And so he goes and he does the whole thing. So he ventures off, and you ever read the Odyssey? They pretty much just recreate the Odyssey, aside from Calypso. But you get to meet the Sirens. I mean, they get to choose between either the Sirens or Scylla, and they chose the Sirens because it's just the safer option. You meet Circe, you meet Polyphemus, and then at Polyphemus, obviously the blind Cyclops, and Annabeth tricks him with the nobody trick. Whole time is Grover is trying to trick this monster into thinking he's getting ready to marry him, and, like, the fact that the monster smells goat on him, that's just goat perfume. And the whole reason they're doing this is because they want to get to the golden fleece that, like, Polyphemus has that has been using to lure these satyrs there. And so he's doing all this, and then they go, and then they trick him, and meanwhile, Luke's doing his whole thing on the cruise and, like, being kind of a dastardly man. And
15 seconds.
They get the golden fleece. They give it to Clarice, and Clarice takes it and hands it off. And then at the end of the book, there's a storm, and the fleece worked a little too well, and Thalia Grace shows up.
Boom! Perfect. 2 minutes.
Jesus. What am I gonna do this?
Nicely done.
Why is it always me?
All right, it'll be me next time, okay?
Okay,
it'll be me next time. Yeah, I think I just finished reading it last night, so yeah, that's basically the overall. I think the only thing you missed is that Luke has a sarcophagus that is slowly putting Kronos back together. But that falls under his shady bullshit, I think, so yeah.
Yeah, he's being a dastardly man.
He is. Luke is the most dastardly man, I think.
Luke Castellan. He's a dastardly dude.
Who, it occurred to me, is in this book 20? He was 19 in the last one, so he's 20. So he's our younger brother Jared's age.
Yes.
So it would be like Jared deciding he was going to be the avatar for an evil titan and was going to destroy Western civilization, and the only one standing in his way was a 13-year-old.
It's Colton.
It's called, well, Colton's 10, so.
Yeah.
But about that, yeah.
Yeah.
GJ, what do you think about the Sea of Monsters?
I very much enjoy it. It's just, I don't know, it's just a fun read. And it was, like, obviously, like, some of my first exposure to, like, the Greek myths and, like, the overarching to the Odyssey. And that was just a good time. I very much enjoyed looking at it and just reading through it. It was a lot of fun, for sure. And, like, it has, like, great character building moments, too.
It does. I didn't quite appreciate it when I was reading it when I was in middle school, but like reading on it now more critically. Yeah, there are a lot of like really good character defining moments in this book.
Yes.
In like their relationships with each other and the characters, like their strengths and their flaws.
Yes.
There is so much Percy Beth shipping going on in this book.
Oh, 100%.
Like, oh my god.
Percy Beth shipping with Annabeth denying it like the whole time.
Oh, but like Percy denying it too. I want to talk
Percy's
about
softly denying it. Like he's warming up to the idea.
Well, Percy doesn't even realize what he's doing.
Yeah.
Because
Percy doesn't realize. And in Titan's Curse, he's like, oh man, I might actually like this girl.
Oh no. Yeah, right.
And Labyrinth is like, oh shit, I'm in love with this girl.
yeah, basically. So like right out the gate, in like the first or second, I think it's the second chapter when Percy is like at his prep school in New York before they get the quest and everything, he has his like school notebook, like for English or like, I don't even remember history or some shit like that.
Yeah.
And he opens it up and he's got this photo of Annabeth taped inside the cover. And she like sent it to him in a letter like she was visiting, I think it was Washington, D.C. with her dad, right?
Yeah.
So she sent them this picture to be like, check out this cool thing I did. And I'm just reading it, and like he keeps it, and it's not like, yeah, you would keep a photo of your friend, because he says he keeps it to prove to himself that Annabeth and Camp Half-Blood are real. Because all Percy wants to do is get back to Camp Half-Blood.
That's kind of fair, because like if I went through that for the first time, even I would think like, I had a fever dream all summer long, right?
Right. It was so outlet. So I totally understand keeping the photo, but taping it to your school notebook where it is literally basically always with him and he can see it all the time, and it's just Annabeth. It's not like it's Annabeth and Grover. It's not anything inherently magical. It's not Greek. It's not 100%. Chiron. It's just this cute blonde girl who, when Percy first saw her, described her as a princess in front of some monuments.
Yes.
So I'm reading this like, yeah, Percy's got it bad for Annabeth.
Yeah, he doesn't even realize it at that point.
Doesn't even realize it, the baby. Oh.
And he's hurt like later on when like the siren part when Annabeth is like daydreaming. He's like, well, it was Luke? Why?
Yeah. And that's
why do I feel bad?
Yeah, I don't feel good about this. Yeah, that's something I realized we totally forgot to talk about in our Lightning Thief episode is that Annabeth has a huge crush on Luke.
Massive crush on Luke. Like,
massive crush.
Would give up the world for Luke.
Mm-hmm. Which is another thing I did not pick up on when I was reading these as a kid.
Oh, I picked up on that. That was
pretty
hard.
If anybody needed any evidence that I am in fact Ace, it is the fact that I didn't realize Annabeth had a crush on Luke until they mention it in like I think the third book. Percy finally like says it, she like acknowledges this as a fact because he doesn't really acknowledge it until later on, and that Percy's in love with Annabeth.
Super in denial. Yeah.
In this book, like little Ace Darien literally never picked up on any of the romance signs in any book I read. I had no idea Magnus had a thing for Alec and that they were secretly dating until they told us that in Shadowhunters. Like, that's how much of like a little Ace Bay I was. Now I recognize it because I've read books and I recognize the tropes. But don't flirt with me in real life because I won't pick up on it.
Yeah.
Just tell me what you want so I can tell you
I'm
now.
about the same, but I'm not Ace. I'm just fucking dense as shit.
So
I can just like see it with other people, but I won't see it in myself.
Yeah, you're Percy.
Essentially, yeah. I
guess real quick, so I want since we're acknowledging like, oh yeah, Annabeth has a crush on Luke. And in the last book, she was like 12 and he's 19. It's really important to like specify that Luke did not reciprocate, nor did he lead Annabeth on regarding her feelings.
And he's like, no, Annabeth is just a sister to me.
Yeah. And it's important that like Annabeth, definitely you can see like she has a crush on Luke. But I think it's really her intense emotions do come from the fact that, like, she has known Luke for 7 years. He's the only stable family she has. Like, she and Luke and Talia traveled across the country trying to get to Camp Half-Blood. Huh? And Grover. Yeah, but Grover only found them at the very end.
And Grover found them because of Thalia.
Yeah, and he was only after Talia. He wasn't even after the other. Of course, Grover wasn't going to abandon them, but, like, his mission was to get her there.
Because it was a very strong, scented...
Yeah, she's
demigod
of Zeus. Yeah. And so, and then Talia died. Oh, sorry, go on.
No, I was just in Titan's Curse when she like actually shows up and we get to meet and like realize who her character is. She doesn't show power like Percy does.
Oh, we'll talk about that. We will talk about that later.
Like, we get to see her manipulate the mist, but that's it.
Look, we'll talk about it when we get to Titan's Curse. Okay, we're talking about the Odyssey right now.
Okay.
But basically, like, and Talia dies, right? So for 7 years, and like, because Annabeth has lived at camp, so I think her feeling, like any like that crushed romantic feeling she has for Luke, it is in part born out of this like very more familiar, and in part because she's really young, and when you're young and you start to become the age where you have romantic feelings. It's not uncommon to have crushes on people who are way older than you, like celebrities and stuff, like people who are totally unattainable. It's not even an option to explore those feelings in a very safe way.
Yeah.
So I think that's important to mark. But it's still hard for Annabeth, right? Because she does love Luke. He basically is like her older brother. At this point, she does have a crush on him, and I'm sure if Luke hadn't become the avatar of an evil Titan, like eventually that would have gone away and they would have just been her big brother Luke, right? Because that's just kind of how it happens.
Yeah.
But like, whoa, it's so obvious.
Oh, it's blatantly obvious. I don't know how you didn't see it either. I saw it and I was in like, what, 4th, 5th grade?
Yeah, I wasn't reading this when I was in 6th grade. Dummy little ace baby. Didn't even know. So
yeah, absolutely. I caught up on that. I'm like, oh man, she's got it for Luke. And like listening to it again, I'm like, oh man, she got it for Luke.
Poor Annabeth.
Can't blame her.
Can't
Luke
blame her, though.
Looker.
No,
Luke is
can't
an
blame her,
absolute
though.
looker. That sword he's got, badass.
So, but Percy.
But Percy.
I love Tyson.
Tyson's
Can we
such
talk
a
about
wonderful
Tyson?
character. Tyson is such a great character.
He's so good. And I think the way Riordan writes Percy's relationship with Tyson, especially when he realizes that Tyson is a child of Poseidon, because that's where Cyclopses come from. They're the child of like gods.
Writes it really well as like a step brother almost. Like,
one that you weren't expecting to have.
Weren't expecting to have. Not really stoked to have.
Mm-hmm.
But like towards the end, you're like, oh man, I was a dick. You're really fucking cool.
Yeah, like getting past your own discomfort of being around someone who is different from you.
Yeah.
I think it remarks well, because I also think like
great. And Tyson's such a wonderful character.
And Tyson's wonderful. Yeah, so Titan is I love. So this is important because I know we have some listeners who actually haven't read Percy Jackson. So I think when we talk about the book, we should definitely do a good job of like explaining it. So when we talk about these characters later, but I do love the scene at camp where Poseidon claims Tyson in front of everybody, like he claimed Percy. Like, whoa, my god,
that is super cool. Even though like, all Cyclops are sons of Poseidon.
Mm-hmm.
But like him claiming him at camp was a big fucking thing.
Big deal. Yeah, like Tyson already knew that Poseidon is his dad.
Yeah.
Because as I don't want to call him a monster.
No, I don't think he did.
No, he does. Because he tells Percy later, like, because he was being like beat up. He's a Cyclops. They are totally abandoned. They don't have anybody looking out for him. But he prayed to his dad to help him. And his dad sent somebody
Percy.
from the prep school, and they brought him to the prep school where he met Percy.
Yeah.
So, and plus, when Percy tells him, "Oh, the gods are real. I'm a son of Poseidon," Tyson immediately knows that. Oh, that means you're my brother.
Oh hell yeah!
But he doesn't get a chance to tell Percy that because he's not. Verbal communication is not Tyson's strong suit.
It's not at all. And we love Tyson, no matter what.
Yeah, we love Tyson, and that's not his fault. It's one of those things where I think our society is so very hung up on verbal communication and those kind of like communication skills that if you are not someone who is super comfortable or super articulate with communicating like that, you're automatically assumed to be less intelligent or burdened. And that's super fucked up that's the way it happens. It's super not fair. And I think, and I'm not going to say how well this is done as Tyson, because I'm not someone who is in that situation where people assume that about me, and so I'm not going to say that Titan is like a great representation of that, especially because like he's still like a Cyclops. He's not human.
Yeah, I will say
it's not a great 1-to-1, but
his character development, like for like later books, he becomes more comfortable around Percy, Annabeth, and Grover specifically, to where he can communicate like important shit to them like relatively quick and with ease, and then like. Obviously around other people he's just like his happy-go-lucky cheery guy, but like he won't be able to talk to them like he does with Percy, Annabeth, and Grover.
Yeah, and I also think those three, they understand his communication style better.
Oh yeah, 100%.
And so they can pick up what he's putting down. I love Tyson. I love I just want to spend a moment talking about how I love Tyson the Cyclops. He's so cute.
Such a good
like
character.
such a good brother.
He's wonderful.
I got teared up a couple times. I was like, oh my god, he's so good.
Yeah.
When he makes Percy the shield, oh my god.
Yeah,
So
makes Percy the shield, and he like fucking comes in clutch with Polyphemus, and I'm like, oh, let's go fucking Tyson, let's go!
I'm like, Tyson, you have every reason to side with those other Cyclops. People at camp were being like a dick to you. You were abandoned by the gods. Like, even Percy was kind of like not as warm as supportive. Like, he'd be nice to Tyson to his face, but at camp when people making fun of him, he'd be like, he's not really my brother. Like, total denial.
Yeah.
Tyson had every right to turn around and be like, yeah, I'm gonna side with the Cyclops. Fuck you guys. But he didn't because he has a good heart.
He's a good heart, and he recognized that, like, Percy's got a good heart, too.
Yeah.
He's just kind of a dick sometimes.
It's kind of a dick sometimes. He needs to learn
He's a
how to work on
13-year-old kid. He's trying his best, okay?
But
at this age, he was just worrying about his look. And then later, he's like, you know what? I don't give a fuck.
I don't give a fuck anymore. Like, maybe, whatever. But it's like, yeah, easy for Percy to say he's super hot as he gets older.
True. 100%.
Like, yeah, it's really easy to be like, I don't give a fuck when you are the hottest person at Camp Half-Blood, a camp full of god children.
Camp full of godchildren when there's an Aphrodite camp just down the way.
It's an Aphrodite camp.
Aphrodite camp Percy still looks better than literally all of them.
Yeah, and that's not their fault. He's just Percy. He's got that sea blue. He's got that sea green eyes.
He's got the sea green eyes and just Sally
Dark
Jackson
hair.
fucking.
And Sally Jackson is literally
Sally
a goddess.
Jackson, absolute bombshell, managed to grab Poseidon after a 1,000-year drought. You know.
1,000.
Well, I mean, probably not a 1,000-year drought, but he
30 maybe.
Again, Poseidon said it's the best woman in 1,000 years.
Yeah, I bet Amphitrite loved that. So anyway. So we have Percy then getting to camp because Talia's tree has been poisoned. It's the magical tree that is like reinforced by the soul of this fallen demigod who sacrificed herself to save her friends. The camp borders are crumbling because the tree is dying.
Yes.
Not great.
Yep.
And
everybody blames it on Chiron, so he's gone.
Well, it's like a bureaucracy. It's a
bureaucracy. 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 Yep.
It's a bureaucracy thing. Well, somebody's got to take the blame. Somebody's got to take the fall. So it looks like the gods are doing something about it.
And we can't blame Dionysus. God
can't
forbid you blame the camp director.
Gods forbid. It's Dionysus's fault. So they blame Chiron because later on it's like a pit scorpion venom or something that you only find in Tartarus. And later on we find out
pit scorpion specifically. I thought it was like a basilisk.
Basilisk. It was something, right?
Yeah, it was something.
I don't remember.
But yeah, the pit scorpion shows up at the end of Lightning Thief. That's
right. It's something you can only get from the pit of Tartarus. You know where Kronos is at. And later on we find out that they blame Chiron because Kronos is his dad. So sure, that's an easy scapegoat. Scape centaur.
Yeah, so, and then he's just hanging out with his fucking brethren, and they're just like, not his scene at all.
At all. We'll circle back.
I don't know if we actually touched down on the Lightning Thief. Did they? Yeah, they showed up at the, no, did they show up in?
They don't show up in the Lightning Thief. I think we did talk about them in the Centaur episode.
Yeah, we get references. Party ponies, they're just a fucking roaming band of centaurs that are just like college frat boys. Mm-hmm. And we know Chiron. That is just not his scene. Not his scene. He's more noble.
It's an eternal spring break.
It's an eternal spring break for these guys. They're going around the country just absolutely going to town on everything. Beer pong, jumping on fucking, it doesn't matter. Like, they're just having a good time. But, there's just not, it's not his scene. So he's like, I want to get out of here. I want to go back to camp.
But after Chiron gets fired, then they replace him with Tantalus, who has literally no chill.
No, he's kind of a dick.
He's the worst. He will definitely be getting an episode. Fuck Tantalus.
Oh, 100%. Like, he's getting an episode, and we're going to talk about his myth, which his myth is fucked up.
Oh my god, I can't believe they put this man in charge of children.
I know, when he killed his own children and also fed it to the gods. God. Like, are you shitting me? Killed his children, ground them up into a chili, fed it to the gods.
Yeah, and it was really to see if the gods were actually all-knowing, because if they were, they would have known not to eat the chili, but they didn't, so they ate the chili. It was... I don't even...
It's vile. But then they cursed him with, like, immortality, and he can never eat food.
Well, he's dead. Well, he's in the underworld, but, like, it's basically immortality at that point. Yeah, and he can't eat or drink, and he's... I do love how Dionysus...
Field of punishment is like just a buffet in front of him, but the food all just fucking runs away from him.
Mm-hmm. I do love how Dionysus torments this motherfucker.
Dionysus is not happy with the fact that they replaced Chiron.
No, he's not.
He's like, man, I miss my fucking, what was it, Cabernuckle buddy?
Pinochle.
Pinochle. I miss my Pinochle buddy. Just the whole time, I was like, fuck, Chiron could kick my ass in Pinochle. This shit's too easy.
Yeah, basically. But like, Dionysus is up there, and his curse is still on him, right? Every time he tries to eat food, it shoots away.
Yeah.
And every time it happens, Dionysus is like, just try again. Just try it. No.
You'll get it eventually. Torture. You'll get it like soon.
Yeah, you'll get it eventually. Fuck off, motherfucker. Like, Dionysus is constantly kind of almost the worst, but like he is actively tormenting Tantalus, which I do appreciate.
Dionysus, like as much as he like doesn't care for the kids, he's still just a fun character.
He is, and he hates Tantalus. So
he just hates Tantalus. Well, I don't think he likes anyone other than fucking Chiron. Like I'm pretty sure Chiron's like one of the only people he like enjoys being around.
Oh, definitely. I can't figure out who decided to put Tantalus in, because this is clearly just another level of torture for Tantalus, right?
Yeah.
Because like he doesn't do anything to help the camp, and he also wants to get the kids killed. That's why he brings the chariot racing back.
It's like, we got rid of the chariot races because like people died. It's like, who cares about that? It was fun.
Yeah. So they do the chariot racing, and then
Percy and Annabeth are fucking like at each other's throat because Percy said something that offended Annabeth.
Well, Annabeth doesn't like Tyson.
That's right? Really?
Right. That's what it is. Annabeth doesn't like Tyson. Like actively, clearly doesn't like him. Cannot stand him. Even though Tyson has been nothing but sweet, nothing but like just
right, because she just doesn't like Cyclopses because they're the ones.
But Percy doesn't know why, and they get into it, and it's not till later that we find out the reason why,
which is horrifying.
DJ, would you like to tell?
So, shortly before they got to Camp Half-Blood, when Annabeth was 7 with Thalia and Luke and Grover led them astray on accident to a Cyclops den that's just like right down the road.
Apparently.
And
weirdly close.
Weirdly close. Like, and then like they led him astray into the Cyclops den, and the Cyclops was able, like the Cyclops have an uncanny ability to copy voices no matter what.
Weird
even
power.
If they haven't heard the voices, which is weird. Which like, well, no, maybe not having heard the voices, but because I was saying like, because Tyson uses Octavian voice, but then I remembered Tyson met Octavian.
But the Cyclops in the den uses Annabeth's dad's voice.
Ooh, that's right. Yeah, super weird. And so like was just using that to draw Annabeth out, and Annabeth just like was horrified because the Cyclops had knocked out Luke, Thalia, and Grover. Right?
Yes, they were all tied up.
Yeah, they were all tied up, and Annabeth had to save them, but like just. So Annabeth has trauma from Cyclops.
And then because they were delayed, all the monsters that had been chasing Talia was able to catch up with them. So that's why they were so on the wire. That's why Talia had to stop and fight them, because they weren't going to get to camp. They weren't even going to get to the big house with the monsters following them. And she knew if she stopped, they were only after her.
Mm-hmm. And what is it? Oh, it's also why Grover didn't get a mission until Percy.
Yeah, because he messed up, got lost, and then that's
5 years, and so like they didn't trust him with it again, and so they gave him another mission. Lo and behold, another fucking big 3 child.
Yeah, Grover's
goddamn Grover.
He's the best at his job.
Absolutely, and the best at the job he's currently doing too. Like it's great.
Yeah, let's talk about Grover in this book, because hey, Grover isn't really in the book a lot, but he
plays a major role.
While at the same time doing something that I find so deeply questionable that it has altered my opinion of Grover entirely.
A little bit. I love Grover so much. I think he's great. So he had to do what he needed to survive.
Well, yeah. So as you mentioned, he talks about he was going after. So Polyphemus has the Golden Fleece because it's got that nature magic, all the Seekers.
Yep. Yeah, all the Seekers that were looking for Pan, because Pan has gone missing. This is another thing that I think we left out. Pan's gone missing. The whole reason Grover wanted like another chance at finding a Greek demigod was so that he could become a Seeker, because you got to work your way up the fucking corporate ladder of
of satyrs.
Of satyrs. And so he finally got a Seeker, and Well, he was drawn to powerful nature magic, what happened to be the Golden Fleece. And he's like, this is why seekers never come back from their quest, because like seekers always die, because they find this and then they just get eaten by Polyphemus. But he manages to trick Polyphemus into thinking he's a female cyclops with a veil over his face, covering his eyes.
Hides in a wedding dress shop in Miami.
Hides in a wedding dress
or Jacksonville.
It was Miami.
Florida.
Yeah, it was in Miami because it was a beachside wedding dress shop. I remember that.
Yes. Weird location for a wedding dress shop, but it is weird location. Florida.
But yeah, so he like got himself up in a wedding dress, covering up his hooves, and like put a veil over his face, covering up his face, so that the Cyclops didn't actually know he was.
And Polyphemus is like mostly blind from the whole eye incident
with Odysseus, who stabbed him in the eye. And so he's like, I just smell goat. He's like, oh, it's just my goat perfume.
Do you like it, babe? Hey,
you like it? Hey. Oh my God. And then obviously eventually he gets found out.
Yeah, it's Clarice. But yeah, I want to applaud Grover because like, way to think on your hooves, buddy.
Oh,
that's
100%. Like,
really, and that buys Grover so much time because he's like, oh, we can't get married.
Like 2 weeks or something like that. Like I gotta make my veil, and he's unraveling his veil and like just going back and forth with it. It's like, and then because Polyphemus is dumb and bad at math, he's like, 7 days, 6 days, 8 days, 9 days, 3 days.
All over the board. I love that. And then later on, when Grover gets found out because Polyphemus captures Clarice, and when he's like, oh honey, we're gonna get married, and she's like, that's not a lady cyclops, that's a satyr. It's like, Clarice, shut your fucking mouth.
Seriously, fucking Clarice.
Oh, so Clarice, who I think we did mention her in
she was just the bully.
She's the bully. She's the daughter of Ares.
Yep, daughter of Ares. And Tantalus said, hey Clarice, I like you, because she won the games, I think.
Yeah, she won the chariot race.
Yeah, she won the chariot race. And so it was like, you get to go on the quest. And Clarice ended up not taking people with her because her dad supplied her with a warship and an army of zombies.
Yeah.
And nobody wanted to get on that ship.
Well, specifically Confederate zombies, which I need to talk about.
It was a U-boat, wasn't it?
Something. I think it was a U-boat. Some sort of steamboat. Tyson can like tell that thing is too old to be sailing still.
Yeah, it's like, dude, it's about to fucking blow.
Yeah, it is because as Clarice explains, when they get after Percy and Annabeth and Tyson dip. Oh, because Hermes shows up. We should talk about Hermes.
Hermes is great.
Hermes is great. Yeah, Hermes, Luke's dad, rolls up after Clarice has been sent on the quest, and Percy's like, what the fuck am I gonna do? And Hermes shows up, and he's like, rules are meant to be broken, like pinatas.
Yeah.
And glow sticks.
Hermes. Yeah, it's like, yeah, just fucking do it. You're like, just go on the quest.
Yeah, here you go.
You succeed, like, they're gonna punish you, but it's gonna be like a slap on the wrist, essentially.
Yeah,
because you succeeded.
If you succeed, no one will punish you. It works for me all the time. So he gives him some presents and sends him on his way. So Annabeth and Tyson then roll up, and then they get on the Princess Andromeda, which is Luke's monster cruise ship that they're using to recruit monsters and also demigods. Suspicious. Not diving into that just yet. We'll put a pin in that till later. Then
where do you get the cruise ship?
Where do you get the fucking cruise? Also, okay, because there are regular people on the cruise ship. They're all like, the mist there is so strong that they're all like blitzed out of their fucking minds.
Yeah.
They're like bad wooden puppet actors. Because they're monsters all over. But it's still a human regular cruise ship.
Yes.
But it's called the Princess Andromeda, and it's got like a statue of Andromeda chained up in horror because the sea monster is coming Andromeda, not like pretty Andromeda. Yeah. Upset Andromeda. And so you're just like, where to get the cruise ship? Why is it a human cruise ship? What the fuck? Why is it called the Princess Andromeda? Because it's weird, because Andromeda is a Perseus myth, and Percy wins in that myth.
Yes. And Percy won in this myth.
He did win in this myth. Okay, so that's why it's called the Princess Andromeda. Anyway, so then they reunite with Clarice, and she's got this Confederate zombie U-boat, and she explains that the armies of the losing side work for Ares in death because that is their penance for losing. Which, yeah, having to serve Ares forever is what the Confederates fucking deserve.
Yeah, that's actually, I didn't catch that. That's actually pretty funny.
Yeah. So what's distressing is there's this bit where they like, the Confederate zombies like Annabeth because she's from Virginia. And then they also like Percy because his last name is Jackson, after fucking Stonewall Jackson.
Yeah.
And then Percy says this is the quote, ruined it by telling them that he's from New York. And hey, Percy, you don't want the Confederates to like you. They're racists. I think this is from that time where we still thought it was funny if they were Confederate zombies, like fucking Scooby-Doo on Zombie Island. And we don't actually talk about, but they were Confederates.
They were. Yeah, they absolutely were Confederate zombies.
And this is a problem because they're they. All right, so I think we should acknowledge right now, so nobody tries to like gotcha journalism us. On our mother's side, our family does come from the South. Alabama specifically.
And supposedly from our father's side, too.
Oh, probably. I'm not surprised. So
like,
we no
go
doubt.
far back enough, we're from the fucking Confederate side of that.
No, didn't like Grandpa Whitey come from Canada?
Well, Grandma Shannon.
Oh, God damn it. Okay, so.
I know. Grandpa Whitey came from Wales.
We're fucking Welsh.
We're fucking Welsh. Anyway.
That's where.
That's a really funny topic to just bring up between me and my friends. Is like, oh yeah, the Welshman's gonna tell me what to do. The fucking Welsh is gonna.
Anyway, so yes, we no doubt have relatives who fought for the Confederates in the Civil War.
100%.
And to those relatives, I would like to say, fuck you, you racist assholes.
Yeah.
And
I concur.
That's all. Okay, so then they get into the Sea of Monsters, which is the sea where all heroes had to travel and do all their adventuring in Greek mythology, and it moved just like all of the Greek shit did because Western civilization.
He actually, in Trials of Apollo, the first book, he makes fun of that idea.
Yeah, I know. It shows how much Rick Riordan has grown as a
He's
person
like,
and author.
that's some like imperialism bullshit. Like with Rhea saying that, it's like, yeah, that's some, which might like with everything moved with the Western civilization, which I gotta say is some Western imperialism bullshit.
Yes,
essentially, it's pretty great.
It is because it's like because they mention in this one, it's like, oh yeah, it survived because the West was like the greatest civilization, like China didn't exist.
Yeah.
Like it's a very like Eurocentric vision of the world. I mean, going back, it still works because like if you're having like the Greek gods still live because we kept telling their stories, that makes sense for them to be in the U.S. now. Because, I mean, they should still be in Greece. Look, American Gods is a great book, and one day we'll talk about it. But for now,
yeah, we fucking it's weird, and even like the fact that they bring up the Mediterranean is still like wildly dangerous for demigods to go to.
We go to Heroes Olympus, so why is Bermuda Triangle the Sea of Monsters? Which also, like, Bermuda Triangle, not actually more dangerous than any other part of the ocean. There's not more, like, shipwrecks or plane crashes there than anyone else. It just happens to be, like, right next to the U.S., and we love to sensationalize everything.
Oh, yeah.
So the Bermuda Triangle is nothing, but it is the Sea of Monsters.
It is the Sea
right
of
off the coast
Monsters
of
in this
Miami.
case. It's the Sea of Monsters in this case, and it's fun.
It's fine. So they go there, and as DJ said, they hit all of
those Odyssey myths.
All of the Odyssey.
Calypso.
Not all. As we said, Calypso doesn't show up till later, but lots, most. And we will save the deep dives into those for their respective episodes because everybody's got one.
Yep. We're definitely going to be talking about the Sirens. We might even touch down on Scylla because she's fun.
Oh, we'll definitely talk about Scylla, yeah. I have a lot of thoughts on the Sirens, but yeah, I think that's because we mentioned it. Let's talk about because they go past the Siren Island, and Annabeth wants to hear their song because, which is exactly what Odysseus does. Like, it's such a beautiful song. She wants to hear it because in this context, it is tempting because it tells you about yourself.
Yeah, it tells you what you want, like what most you want. It tempts you with the thing that you want most.
Yeah, and that's how you learn something about yourself. So Percy fills his ears with candle wax. He's sailing along. Annabeth can hear it. She starts fighting, crying, begging for Percy to let her go. And he's like, I'm just not going to look at you. Just not going to look at you because this is very unpleasant for me to have to see my best friend and crush being so very distressed.
My best friend and like weird feeling in my heart.
Yeah. So, but Annabeth, for some reason, they didn't disarm Annabeth.
Yeah, they didn't take away her knife.
Dagger.
Yeah.
Cuts herself loose, swims up to the island. Percy saves her. And not before
saves her by pulling her down. So
smart. But when he grabs onto Annabeth, he can see what it is she's being tempted by.
Yes. And what that vision is a vision of her, Luke, her father, and Athena having like a beautiful picnic in New York City that Annabeth designed because she wants to be an architect.
But it's not even just like she designed it. It's like better than New York, better than Olympus. It's not just like New York. It's Annabeth has redesigned the world to be perfect.
Yeah.
So yeah,
Percy sees that and he's like, "Oh man, where am I?"
Yeah, because it's Luke. And we can view that through the crush lens. We could also view that through, like, this is her family. That's what she's seeing. She's seeing her dad loving and opening, excited to see her with her mom, Athena, who she's probably only met, like, 2 or 3 times, right? Because the gods are flighty as fuck. And then, like, Luke, who's, like, her family, right? So, but Percy's like, that doesn't make me feel great that I'm not included in this, like...
What is this feeling? Like, is it jealousy?
What is this feeling so sudden and new? It's loathing, Percy. It is jealousy. This time it's actually jealousy. But yeah, so Percy saves Annabeth by pulling her down, down, down beneath the water, where she can't hear the song anymore, and then pulling all the air bubbles around them so she can breathe, because she can't breathe underwater.
No, Percy can, but yeah.
Which is like major Percibeth moment number 2 in this book.
Oh yeah, 100%.
These two at the bottom of Siren Bay. I mean, Annabeth is having a crisis. Like, she's emotional. It's not like cutesy romantic, but it's like that kind of like, oh, they're so like supportive and Percy is there for her. That like bedrock of a relationship. And I'm like, oh.
Yeah, he did such a great job building the Percibeth relationship.
It is. I'm so here for it. Excited to be a part of this ship now.
So wild that there are people out there that think you should have ended up with Rachel. But anyway.
Rachel, what the fuck? Okay, I love Rachel.
We'll get to that when we cross. We'll carve that pig when we cross the bridge. Yeah, I don't know. I'll burn that bridge when we get to it. That's
what the fuck. So they get to
Circe's island after that. No, Sirens.
Circe's before.
Yeah, Circe's is before the Sirens because I remember he's on the Blackbeard ship.
Yeah. Oh yeah, that's where they get the ship, right? They go to Circe's island.
Because they were on like a little fucking dinghy before.
Right, they were because and when they got to Charybdis and Scylla, Clarice makes a bad call. And the ship goes overloaded.
That's right. Those were the options.
And they lose Tyson.
Yeah.
So, and that's very sad. They end
up on Circe's island after the explosion.
They do some
and Circe turns Percy into a guinea pig and tries to trick Annabeth into thinking, "Oh, Percy's fine." Meanwhile, Percy's screaming,
screeching,
and Annabeth's like,
"Guinea pig."
Right, Drew, screeching, and Annabeth's like, "What's going on with that? Could I have just a moment alone?"
Right, because she realizes, oh, you're Circe, and you turn men into pigs. And Circe's like, that's messy, they're guinea pigs now.
Yeah. Pigs are so bad. Like
they take up the guinea pigs now, and I send them to kindergarten classes, which, like, honestly, Circe.
That's horrible.
I love it, and I support you.
I don't know if I support that, because kindergarten classes are
you wouldn't.
No, kindergarten classes are kind of rough for a guinea pig, I feel.
Look, it's not a hamster. I think guinea pigs are made of tougher stuff. I don't know.
Okay, that's like saying a wet paper towel is stronger than wet toilet paper.
It is.
But
I'm not
by much.
If you got the brawny paper, you can put like 6 marbles on it before it rips.
Viva is where I go, but like, let's just move on, I guess. If you're a brawny chick, whatever.
Store.
Viva's not dollar store. That shit is cloth wrapped up in paper, okay?
All right, so they do Circe, and then they do Sirens, and hold on.
We'll touch down more, obviously, on these myths in the later episodes.
Oh, we will. We're kind of just skimming by Percy. Oh yeah, there's a scene where they finally get to the Cyclops' island. DJ says the Cyclops' name better than me, so I'm just not going to say it. The rest
Polyphemus?
Of yeah.
It's either Polyphemus or Polyphemus.
You say it so smooth, and I say every single syllable, like as its own word. So we're just going to let you say it.
It's because I'd listened to it like 1,000 times.
Oh, that'll help you. Yeah.
That's
also why we say Talia's name differently.
Yeah. Actually, I think it might have been Talia in the things, but I just like read it as Thalia 1,000 times.
Oh, okay.
And then I listened to it. I'm like, well, who knows? It's probably Talia.
So they get to the island. They do some free solo bullshit rock climbing,
Yeah.
which I love because it means the rock wall from Camp Half-Blood comes back around and is useful because they have to like free solo up the side of the
They do a
cliff.
lot of rock climbing, actually, free soloing rock climbing in this series. Now that I think about it,
It's great.
It's funny.
I love it. I respect it. And
It's good training.
it's great training. Great. Oh, here's the thing. Rock climbing, fucking great workout. All around cardio. Just full body workout. Your toes end up getting stronger when you rock climb. How do I know this? I'm a rock climber. I have a rock climbing Instagram. It's fun. It's really fun. We'll do a bonus episode on rock climbing.
Yeah.
Yay! But not today. Today we're going to talk about the second time that Grover just thinks on his hose and pulls it off after Clarice blows his cover because Clarice has been captured. Don't know how she got here.
Who knows?
She did it. She's daughter. Here's the thing.
Friggin'
Clarice is also a demigod. She is a daughter of Ares.
the strongest daughter of Ares I've ever fucking seen.
Right.
Holy shit.
We should
Up
talk
until
about
we
how
meet
Ares is being a
Frank
dick to her.
Yeah, Ares is being an absolute, like, just an abusive dad. Like,
Yeah,
100%.
Percy overhears her having a conversation
Much
with Ares.
prefer Mars to Ares. Mars is way fucking cooler of a father.
Mars is more chill.
Mars is way more chill.
Yeah.
And,
He's the necessity of war. Is war ever necessary? Whatever. And then Ares is just the rage of war.
Yeah.
It's great. Yeah. We should not underestimate Clarice and how she manages to survive on her own.
Yes.
Right? Like, Percy and Annabeth had each other. Clarice had no one when she lost that ship. She was utterly by herself. And it sucks because, like, when Percy, when they're on the ship and he overhears Ares, like, reprimanding her for basically because, like, Clarice had to save him because they were being fools and she picked him up. But no one came with her, and it's unclear whether or not it's because they didn't want to and wanted her to fail, or if, like, Ares told them not to.
I think Clarice said nobody want to get on the ship with me.
Was that it? Because it's not clear why.
Clarice, I don't know, but, like, well, because, like, it's a fucking zombie ship that was given to her by Ares.
Yeah, but it's all, like, her. They're also kids of Ares. That shouldn't faze them. So it's not clear, like, because first this is because Percy's like, where you're allowed to bring two people on your quest.
Where are
Clarice
they? And she's like, nobody want to get on the ship with me. I remember that specifically.
She doesn't say what. She just starts to say they didn't, and then she stops. I had them stay behind to protect the camp.
Oh, then it might be Clarice, like, saying, hey, don't get on this fucking ship.
But when she said they didn't, like, they didn't what? They didn't want to come? They didn't think I could do this? Like, they didn't what? Because I think that says a lot about the nature of the Ares cabin.
Maybe she shared the, because we haven't even fucking said the goddamn oracle.
Oh, we should say the prophecy. Okay. Well, I was saving that for this one because we don't discover it till the end.
Because it's at the end, but it's still, like,
before.
relatively, because, like, I'm pretty sure they heard the prophecy and were like, we don't want to go on this with you. It says you'll fail without friends. Or, like you're, or something, like, I can't remember.
I'll get it. I got it right here. You shall sail the iron ship with warriors of bone. You shall find what you seek and make it your own. But spare for your life entombed within stone, and fail without friends to fly home alone. Okay, so that definitely sounds like she's gonna die.
Yeah. And so people are like, yeah, and, like, you know, Ares showing up with the fucking ship, and it's probably like, yo, we don't want to do this. Like, sounds bad.
Despair for your life entombed within stone, and fail without friends to fly home alone. And what we realize is that without her friends, if Annabeth and Grover and Percy hadn't been there, Clarice would have failed. But that definitely sounds like you're going to fail and you'll die alone. You'll just, And to fly home alone, that could also be interpreted as your soul flies away. Like, it's actually really dark.
It could also, like, the friends could also be like, well, the friends are going to die and she's just going to return home alone. Nobody wants to be on that.
That makes a lot more sense. Yeah, no one wanted to be on the mission knowing that they're going to... Which is like, come on, Ares cabin!
Yeah. Because, like, to fly home alone, that's like... Ugh. And so nobody was like, we don't want to die.
They're
this sounds
kids.
bad.
Like, whatever, they're kids.
Yeah, but they're kids. You still like their...
No, I mean, like, they're kids. I'm not going to, like, I said, like, take them from the game, like, knowing... No, they're kids. Like, I don't blame them. Like, if you think you're going to die, like, I'm not going to sign up for that. So that makes sense. Fail without friends and fly home alone. Yeah. So that's probably, they didn't want to come. They thought they were, because it's just interesting, because when I thought back on it, I didn't know why. And I always interpreted it as like, oh, they didn't want to come because they thought she was going to fail, or they wanted to see her fail because they want to be Ares' favorite. That doesn't make
Yeah.
sense because they don't want that Camp Haplet is at stake. It's not just about glory.
Yeah, it's not just about them, but they don't want to lose their lives because, like, fail without friends to fly home alone. That sounds like your friends are gonna die.
Yeah. So that makes more sense. That she's gonna fail anyway, so it's not why bother.
Yeah.
You're gonna fail. So that makes sense. So we see Ares. He's reprimanding. He's basically telling Clarice she better not fuck up and don't let Percy fuck this up for you because the Ares kids hate Percy because of how he threw down with Ares and made a fool
With
of
Ares
him.
and almost like won. Like
Yeah.
he almost won that fight.
Well,
Like,
nicked him and that counts.
he
Almost.
nicked
I don't know
him,
if he
and he
almost
was
won.
overpowering him with the power of the ocean. Like straight
Yeah.
up.
We're gonna see what happened after 6 more seconds when Percy got it back on land, but
Yeah.
so and Ares says some like shitty stuff to Clarice, and
Oh,
basically he has this
100%.
comment. He's
Ares
like,
is
"I
not
should
a
have sent
fucking-
one of my sons to do this."
Yeah, Ares is not a fucking
No.
good dude.
And it's like one hand is like, "Oh, is Ares sexist?" Wouldn't be surprised, but honestly, I interpret it as more as like he knows saying that will hurt Clarice. I don't think Ares cares. I think if you're a good warrior to Ares, go fuck some shit up. Like I don't care about your
And I mean, like,
gender.
clearly he does care about Clarice, because in the final battle in the last Olympian, she gets a blessing of Ares.
Yes,
She
yeah.
fucking goes around and is absolutely throwing down with the
we
army
will
of Kronos.
Talk about that. shit.
God!
Oh, we'll
I-
talk about that. I'm so excited for that.
Like, out of all powers, right? The blessing of Ares is one of the cool, or the blessing of Ares / Mars is one of the coolest fucking powers you can get. Because, like, you're impervious to fucking any attack while you have it. You're glowing red. You're seeing red. Your reflexes are fucking maxed out. You are just insanely powerful in that moment. Sure, it can only show up when you're fighting in a war. It's still so fucking good.
Oh no, it's cool. It's cool. It's cool. It's cool. I love that. I've got a lot of thoughts surrounding how we get to that point. We'll talk about that though. I got feelings.
It was a way to get there.
It was a way
and
to
it
get
was
there.
An unfortunate way to get there, but
We got
we'll
there,
get
and
to
I got
that
some
point later.
Oh, I got some thoughts. But what was I saying? But yeah, so I think in that moment he's I don't know, Ares is a dick. He's an abusive dad. Yeah, he cares about her, but he's still not great. All the
No.
gods are though. They're absent parents, and that is a form of abuse.
But it's
So-
like they can't be there for all of their kids.
Then
And, like,
stop having
the-
kids.
The problem is that, like, when Ares is there for his kids, it's bad.
Mhm.
But when, like, all those other ones are there for their kids, it's like, oh, I haven't seen my fucking dad in a while.
I maintain they're all abusive parents. I'm gonna die on this particular hill. So, yeah, we get that. So that's why, like, Clarice is so adamant. Like, she won't let Annabeth and Percy help her. She refuses. She's trying to do it on her own because, like, one, the curse says if she brings anybody, they'll die. And two, not the curse, the prophecy is how she's
Yeah.
interpreting it. And then two, her dad is, like, on her case about this. And she's, like,
100%.
what, 14? She's not much older
still
than
relatively
Percy.
young, yeah.
Yeah, she's also just a kid. So they get to the island, oh yeah, I was gonna say this is when Grover thinks on his hopes again, and once Clarice blows his cover, the Cyclops is getting ready to eat him, and Grover's like, "Hey, you don't want to eat me? You'll get a coli. Don't eat me raw."
Yeah, you gotta cook me. I know a great recipe for Seder.
Yeah, with mango chutney. You got some mangoes on the island. Go get those mangoes, and I'll tell you the recipe. And it works because Polyphemus is not bright.
No, he's he's eaten thousands of Seders by this point. He's like, oh, I'll get E. coli. I can't afford that. Health insurance. What is that?
Right. I don't think they have universal health care in the Sea of Monsters.
No, probably not. I
Probably
don't
not.
think Cersei would come up and be like, yeah, you got E. coli.
Cersei's the doctor.
I mean, she's the closest thing
The
they
only
got
one,
to
yeah.
fucking
True,
anyone
true,
with
true,
authority on that.
So, yeah, so Grover manages to buy him a little bit of time. Annabeth and Percy sneak in. Annabeth pulls she puts on her invisible hat, pulls the Odysseus' nobody trick. Hey, it's me, nobody. Polyphemus loses his shit. His old enemy. I'm gonna get you this time.
Yeah.
And then Tyson shows back up.
Tyson shows up and kicks
not dead.
Polyphemus' ass. God, dude, I fucking love Tyson.
He's great. Tyson
He's a
helps.
good
He saves the day. He's able to get the
Golden
fleece.
from
Oh,
the-
right, because they can't touch it because it's surrounded by
Because it's surrounded by
piranha sheep.
Yeah, piranha sheep who like just kill anything on touch unless it's a Cyclops.
Because it smells like. Because Tyson smells like Cyclops. Because he is. But
So he goes and he grabs the fleece, and then they all like, okay, let's go.
dip.
They dip. They arrive in Miami and give the fleece to Clarice.
Yeah, they're on a time crunch. They realize, it's been 10 days.
Like, we're on a time crunch. And
Talia Street's probably almost dead. We need to get back.
You got to take the fleece on the plane. You got to fucking do that. I can't fly because, son of Percy, dude fucking gave me a warning last time I flew. I'm not going to, do that shit again. Zeus will not let
Percy on a plane. But they only have enough money for one ticket anyway.
So here, you take it. You got to fly home alone, and that's how that.
That's how that.
Quite literally, fly home alone, which is like the first time it's pretty literal about anything.
Yeah. So very obvious. You would have failed without your friends, but you had them, so you're fine. And now you have to fly home alone.
Yeah.
How does Clarice walk into the airport looking the way she does as a young teenage girl who is clearly not showered in 10 days and buys a plane ticket, and then they let her on a plane?
Hey, Darien.
Does she know how to control the mist?
Well, I was about to say there's a 4-letter word, and it's called the mist. They don't even have to control it.
Use it.
No, they don't.
Yes, they do. Yes, they do.
Are you kidding me? The Argo 2 is sailing through the Mediterranean. A cruise ship passes by them, and everyone's thinking it's a fucking whale. They're not controlling that mist. This is early in the fucking the Mark of Athena.
Yes, okay. The mist has an auto setting, and the auto setting will cover anything that is magical, okay? So
she's also wearing a golden fleece.
Yeah, but the mist makes it look like a Letterman's jacket.
Yes.
So the mist
maybe the mist covers it up. I don't know.
My question is not about the fleece. I know, because here's the thing about the mist.
Maybe the fleece has an aura of mist that helps covers up who else is wearing it.
Oh shit. Okay, so she is wearing the golden fleece, and it did save Annabeth after she was mortally injured in the fight with Polyphemus. So it probably Clarice wasn't hurt. She was just a bit malnourished and a little messy. It probably spruced her the fuck up. Now she looks like she's a young up and coming football player going to an out of state tournament. Okay. Yes. You still need ID. She's post 9/11.
Let's figure this out, right? We say maybe she's 14, but maybe she's 16. You can fly alone on 16.
You can't buy a plane ticket without an ID.
Who's to say she doesn't have an ID?
I guess that's okay. All right.
She's 16. Maybe she does. Maybe she can drive. Maybe she's just got a state-issued ID.
All right.
And maybe she's got something like a white piece of paper that the doctor flashes and the mist covers it up. So here's an ID. Because the thing about the mist is even if you don't know how to control it, you can manipulate mortals into seeing what they want to see.
But you have to know how to do that.
Demigod, I don't know.
Well, okay, because
maybe Chiron trained Clarice because she's been there so long. Because Chiron trained Thalia somehow.
Okay, true. And he trained her in the couple months she was at camp.
Yeah, and trained her to fucking use the mist
but never got around to teaching Percy that. To be fair, Percy's been doing some other shit.
Percy's got so much power that Chiron's he doesn't need more. Yeah. We need to keep him down a little bit. Hold on a second.
The mist is that it works on humans across the board. They don't see shit. It also works on demigods when you're in the mortal world. Because Percy had no idea that Tyson was a Cyclops until they got to Camp Half-Blood.
He thought he was a kid with a weird, organization on his face, and his teeth were kind of fucked up.
He just couldn't ever really look him in the eye, and he didn't know why. And then when they get the fleece out of sea monsters back to Florida, Percy doesn't see it as a fleece anymore. He sees it as a Letterman jacket, which is really interesting. And it kind of ties into this thing that because then after they get Clarice out, Luke captures them again, and he's like, we're going to use the fleece to bring Kronos back to life. And you're like, fuck off. Fuck off.
Well, congratulations. We don't have it. We
don't have it. We sent Clarice off. You fucked up.
Clarice got it. It's oh, what? You just fucking said you would. God damn it. Okay. And then Blackjack appears.
Did Blackjack appear? When does Blackjack show up in the books? I thought he was on the cruise ship.
He is. We should have been the Black Pegasus.
Yes, and I thought that was Blackjack, but that is described as a Lady Pegasus.
Oh, weird.
Yeah.
No, because Blackjack comes at him and says that he saved him.
Yeah, he does. That's why I thought it was Blackjack.
Maybe it's just a very feminine Pegasus.
Okay, yeah. Before I could say anything, Argeus, the bear man, burst on the deck leading a flying horse. It was the first pure black Pegasus I'd ever seen with wings like a giant raven. The Pegasus mare bucked and whinnied. I could understand her thought. She was calling Argeus and Luke some bad names. Some names so bad, Chiron would have washed her muzzle out with saddle soap. Lady Pegasus!
Weird.
I know.
Then I guess there's no, because he would note on Blackjack being another. Does he use he/him pronouns for Blackjack later?
Yeah, Blackjack's a guy.
Is
Isn't he? Oh, is Blackjack a lady Pegasus?
Might be, because I mean, he wouldn't know. It's like Blackjack reminded me a lot of that Pegasus from the cruise ship.
Yeah, I thought Blackjack was the Pegasus from the cruise ship.
I'm pretty sure he is, or she is.
They? Blackjack, Percy, Jackson. Blackjack is a he. I'm on the wiki.
Percy Jackson.
Appearances: Sea of Monsters. Blackjack was once a prisoner on the Princess Andromeda until Percy released him indirectly.
So it was a slip up from fucking Rick Riordan.
Yes, someone slipped up because this is the book I've owned since I bought the first three in like a 3-pack paperback.
Rick Riordan said it was a mistake in an interview or something like that.
Okay, because here it does say that like Percy's because it's the same Pegasus. He's talking about how Percy mistook him for a mare. I don't know how Percy, the guy that can hear the horse's thoughts, would mistake a stallion for a mare. That's a pretty obvious difference in horses.
It's a pretty obvious difference in size too, and like he's around Pegasi a lot.
Wow. Okay.
All right.
Oh god, it's so funny. In the bio on the wiki, it's like Blackjack originally introduces a mare, and then that's it. Yeah. We're just gonna move past it.
Yeah. Yeah, we found a Reddit post about it.
It's like, yeah, that's my bad. What was the mistake? Like describing Blackjack as a mare in Sea of Monsters, or describing him as a stallion in Titan's Curse, or not realizing that the Pegasus from Sea of Monsters was a mare when he was writing Titan's Curse? Probably the latter.
I think. Hold on. It was the female being a mistake.
That's a pretty weird mistake to make.
Yeah.
Because when I think Pegasus, it's just stallion. Because Pegasus. Yeah. You have to intentionally be like, and this one is a lady horse.
Let's see if like there's any more.
Because I feel like the mistake would be like later on when he's like, oh, I should use that Pegasus, and that could just be like Percy's friend. Oh yeah, I'll put him in here. And the mistake was like forgetting that the Pegasus was a mare.
I'm trying to find like if there's like anywhere I can see it from. Okay, no, it was originally supposed to be a mare, but then he made it a male.
But when he got to Titan's Curse, I think he just forgot that Pegasus was a mare. Unless Titan's Curse acknowledges that Percy was mistaken?
No, because I don't remember it acknowledging that. Here it says, after Sea of Monsters was published, he decided that he liked the idea of Blackjack being a male better.
Then get a different horse. I think at that point, you get a different horse. Like, wait, what? I don't know, maybe Percy just assumed the gender of this Pegasus and Blackjack says trans rights. And I support him in that. So they get out because the party ponies show up with Chiron. Oh, because Percy does this great thing where he throws a drachma at Luke. Luke dodges, obviously, but it goes in through, like, there's this, like, fountain behind him. Rainbow sends an iris message to camp, gets Luke to confess everything in front of the message going to Dionysus. Like, yeah, he poisoned Talia's tree. Yeah, he's bringing Kronos back. Yeah, Chiron had nothing to do with it.
Yeah.
And then Dionysus is like, all right.
Oh, great. Cool. Thanks.
You're done, Tantalus. I know you just picked up a cheeseburger for the first time in
Tantalus,
millennia.
You're gone. Like, oh, cheeseburger. And then he just disappears and the cheeseburger just falls.
Because fuck that guy.
Fuck Tantalus, dude.
Fuck Tantalus.
Fuck Tantalus. There's a point in House of Hades where Percy feels sympathy towards him because he hasn't eaten in so fucking long. Because he's in Tartarus.
We don't feel Percy.
He's like, Percy, man, I feel bad for that guy. Like, if this is what he's going through. And then he eats like, oh, fuck Tantalus.
That was just the hanger talking, Percy. You're not yourself when you're hungry. Eat a Snickers.
No. Well, he can't. He's in fucking Tartarus.
Okay, I know.
He got some peanut M&Ms from Connor stole through the Hermes altar, though. It's pretty cool.
Oh, yeah. So they get out and... What right here? Oh, yeah. So the... Chiron Rex sees them. They get out. They're bringing him back to camp with like the centaurs and stuff because they can travel.
Because they can travel at fucking Mach speeds.
Yeah. And as they're talking, first I want to dunk on Percy a little bit because when
he deserves it.
Yeah, always. But this one specifically, where Percy's like, why wouldn't they trust you, Chiron? And he's like, Percy, think about your training. What do you know about me? What is my relationship to Kronos? And Percy like can't. He's like, you owe him money? Percy, Mr. remembers the myth of Procrusteus on his feet while this motherfucker's trying to murder his friends, suddenly can't remember that Chiron is the son of Kronos.
Yeah. Sounds about right. I mean, that's just... It's Percy's got a wide selection of knowledge. What that is, we don't know.
We very much don't know. But
it vastly changes every time.
Mm-hmm. But I do want to talk about the conversation that he and Chiron have leading up to Percy suddenly forgetting all of his Latin lessons. Is Chiron
Latin lessons with air quotes around
air quotes, yeah.
Because the fucking shit was not Latin. That was Greek. He was teaching Percy Greek.
The whole time.
But like no teacher knew enough about Latin or Greek to
catch on.
Yeah, to catch on. It's like teaching Latin, it's a dead language, but it's used. Teaching Greek, that's a dead language. That's a pretty dead fucking language. Like ancient Greek.
Okay, I was about to say...
It's different than modern Greek.
I was like, I think the people of Greece would disagree with you.
Yeah. Ancient Greek, because they do say, "Oh,
I think
swear."
Dad would disagree with you.
Yeah, they do. Like he's like swears in ancient Greek and shit like that.
So the conversation that he has, where Percy's talking about how he's like, "I'm just a kid. How is one kid gonna stand up against Kronos?" And Chiron is talking about how like, oh, you can't hurt mortals with celestial bronze, right? It only works on like monsters and stuff.
Monsters, demigods, and gods and immortals and everything in between.
Yeah. So Chiron says, humans don't exist on the same level as the immortals. They can't even be hurt by our weapons. But you, Percy, you are part god, part human. You live in both worlds. You can be harmed by both, and you can affect both. That's what makes heroes so special. You carry the hopes of humanity into the realm of the eternal. Poetic.
Oh, no.
God, I love that.
No, Chiron's great.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I love Chiron so much.
It's so good. And then he says this. He talks about how monsters have to be reborn again. Like, they have to be defeated. They must be defeated again and again, kept at bay. Heroes embody that struggle. You fight the battles humanity must win, every generation, in order to stay human.
Heck yeah.
And that's like, I forgot about that, but that's really good. Like, that's like so much, and it's so much pressure to put on this kid. He is 13.
He's trying his best.
And Percy does a good job. I'm not going to say Percy doesn't do a good job.
Oh, yeah.
But he's 13.
He does a wonderful job. Yeah,
things are rough
just
for
13.
him.
He's trying his fucking best. Like, that kid is like, oh my God.
Actually, is Percy even 13? He might still be 12 in this.
No, he's 13.
Is he 13? When's his birthday?
He's 13. His birthday's in July. So he's 14 in Titan's Curse and Battle of the Labyrinth. And then he's 15, going to be 16 in Last Olympian.
He turns 12 in Lightning Thief.
Yep. Because his birthday is somewhere in July. He says he's like, I think, a Sagittarius.
I think, yeah, his birthday is in the end of July. I think it's somewhere in July. It's not the end of July.
So,
it's Harry Potter.
Yeah, so he's 12 in Lightning Thief. And then, July happens. It's his birthday. 13 in Sea of Monsters because it happens around like the same time of the year.
I thought...
And then Titan's Curse happens in the winter of that same year. And then Battle of the Labyrinth happens summer of the next year. Mm-hmm. So he's 14 in both of those. And then Last Olympian happens.
Turning 16.
Yeah.
Okay, thank you for that. All right, so, but yeah, it's like the idea that you're not just responsible for being in the mortal world and just being a human kid and being a teenager. You're also responsible for the survival of the immortal world. This thing that's going to exist long after you, that existed long before you, that you exist because of this nonsense, but you're responsible for making sure it still survives. God, that's a lot of pressure to put on a kid.
It's a lot of pressure. And he's just constantly going through it.
God, forever.
Forever. For like a solid 8 years, like fucking 6 to 8 years, Percy just has the pressure of the world on his shoulders.
I don't blame him for seeing Apollo show up as a mortal teen and being like, fuck you.
He like opens the door. He's like, why?
Get
that was
out
his first fucking
of my
words
house.
to Apollo. He's like, why? It's like, well, I was expecting a fanfare. A small parade wouldn't have been out of... Dude, I'm just trying to do school.
I have to get into college or my girlfriend will kill me.
I have to get into college and I got to do this
She'll
thing.
send me to Tartarus again.
I have to do this thing. And the pilot's like, oh, I wrote the poet and literature portion of that test. And he's like, I'll never forgive you for that.
But we'll talk about that when we get to Trials will Follow.
Yeah.
For now, you're right. So they get back to camp. Clarissa's a hero, which good. She deserves to be. It was her quest anyway.
100%.
Like Percy's gate crashing. I think we don't talk about that, but like Percy has this bad habit of gate crashing other people's quests, and I think it's because he doesn't understand the cultural significance of getting a quest.
But here's the thing. Now you're right. You're right. He does.
Mm-hmm.
If he did not go on that quest, Clarisse wouldn't have failed.
I'm not saying he was wrong. I'm saying I don't think Percy. He meant at the end he realizes, right, this is Clarisse's quest, and how would I have felt if a couple other demigods like showed up and showed me up and like made me look bad?
Yeah. And so he's like, so he doesn't fucking say anything. In Percy's defense, that was his best friend on the line.
That's another thing, right? Like he's directly involved. And like the first, because like Percy,
his best friend has now empathy linked him. So
that's what I'm talking about, the empathy
Grover
link.
did not fucking live, Percy would have just gone into a vegetated state coma.
Yeah, I want to talk about consent and the empathy link that Grover sets up because, like, hey, Grove, I know you're in a life or death situation, but iris messages exist.
He couldn't get to a rainbow.
I'm just
saying. He was
saying.
being chased by Polyphemus.
And maybe this is why we need cell phones. Maybe this is why we need some celestial bronze cell phones.
And so he fucking...
Maybe this is why Hephaestus Cap needs to get on it. I don't know what to tell you.
Right?
They have TVs. Olympus has TVs.
Yeah, they do. It's weird.
And then we can't get the teens some cell phones?
I mean, there is TVs on camp.
Hermes has a cell phone. Hermes has the goddamn Motorola flip with the little the antenna.
He changes his staff into that, though. So, like...
It's still so funny reading it in 2021. Because kids are still reading these books. This book came out in, like, 2006.
Yeah, that was...
Let me see.
Right at that point,
Copyright
Blackberries
2006.
were barely a thing.
Yeah, it's so funny how tech ages. Like, wow, having a god with a cell phone, so cutting edge. And then, and then little snakes. Oh, I love Martha and George. So they get back to camp, and what was I going to say? Oh, Clarisse is the hero, as she should be, and nobody acknowledges that Percy and Annabeth left. Good, because they would have gotten expelled.
Yeah, 100%.
Mm-hmm. And then Hermes shows up for one last delivery.
I don't remember what it was.
Okay, I'll say it then.
Sorry.
I'll send you up. It's okay. No, I got the ball.
Was it a care package from his mom or the dad?
No, it's a letter from Poseidon.
Yeah, that's what it was.
And it just says, brace yourself.
Oh my god.
Right?
Oh, like what the fuck is that supposed to mean? I don't even know if that was like meant in Titan's Curse or Labyrinth.
I feel like it means your life.
I know, right? He's like, yeah, sorry for your existence, man. Like, this shit fucking sucks.
Brace yourself.
Brace yourself.
But, could that be like one of our Patreon rewards? You're at a tier and we will send like Poseidon's letter to someone in your life when you know they're going to just brace yourself. And like the blue envelope with the gold writing.
Yeah, blue envelope, gold writing. We'll get like gold wax to stamp it with too. Mm-hmm. Or like bronze like wax to stamp it with.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. I'll get a quill.
Be like, yeah, you'll get a quill. I'll fucking see if I can find the like the trident symbol, and that's what we'll stamp it with.
Perfect. Yep, we'll do that.
Return address will be some fucking cabin.
Cabin at Camp the Camp Halflet address. It's real. It's there. It's an address.
Yeah.
I don't know if it goes anywhere, but there's an address. We have it in the book.
We'll get a P.O. box.
Oh, yeah, we'll get a P.O. box eventually. Nobody wants to send us anything. We don't get a P.O. box. That costs money. Whatever. Send us presents, and then we'll get a P.O. box.
We'll get a P.O. box to specifically send those, and that'll be the return address.
There, because we got to have a return address, obviously. Yeah. Mount Olympus. P.O. box.
Right. Just the Empire State Building.
Mm-hmm.
Brace yourself.
Yeah, the Oh, and then the ending.
Then they do the chariot races again.
They do the chariot races again.
You know what? Let's people had fun. Let's keep it.
Yeah. And this time, Percy and Annabeth win because they team up with Tyson.
They team up with Tyson and they fucking just kick ass. Wasn't it Percy was at the reins? And Annabeth was just fucking it up, like back, and just like absolutely going down.
Yes, because Percy's horses. He can talk to horses.
That's right.
He's good with horses. Good with boats. We forgot to mention how Percy just like once they got on.
Like when they got Blackjack's ship,
just like could pilot a whole ship by himself.
Yeah, he'd be like, "Hey, I just know what I'm doing. I don't know how I know." He also like knows nautical miles and everything the moment he's on water.
Yeah, it's
He just knows exactly like GPS location the moment, godly positioning system the moment he's on.
Right. Oh, because that's how they get right. We forgot to mention. Well, at the beginning of the book, they hitch a ride in the Grey Sisters taxi, and then they get the coordinates to where the fleece is at, and that's where they realize where Grover's at, and that's how they get there. Okay, we'll do an episode on the Grey Sisters.
Yeah.
But they do the chariot race. They win. It's great. Poseidon sends Tyson a dream and tells him, "Come to my undersea kingdom and learn how to work in the Cyclops forges." Because Tyson's great. We were talking about
Tyson also makes him a shield.
A shield watch.
A
yeah.
watch.
Charles
which
Beckendorf.
shows up in the first movie, and it was bad.
We don't talk about the movies here, DJ.
We'll talk about the movies eventually, Darren. We have to. We do a Percy Jackson podcast.
When we get,
it is inevitable. It is inevitable.
When we get 100 patrons on Patreon, we will talk about. We'll do a whole Remyth episode. We'll do a bonus episode. Every single patron, if you donate $1 up, you'll all get to hear this bonus episode where we talk about the goddamn Lightning Thief movie.
Yep.
And with 200, we'll do Sea of Monsters. But we don't talk about it right now. So, Davis, how does this book end?
This book ends with Thalia Grace coming up and just being like, because like they put the golden fleece on the tree, and I believe the chapter is titled "The Golden Fleece Works Too Well."
Yeah, little too well.
Little too well. And so they put it on there, and it revives Thalia Grace.
Yeah, it doesn't just...
She comes up and is like, and everyone's like, "Who are you?" And she's like, "What are you talking about? I'm Thalia Grace." And then that's how the book ends.
No, it's so good because like they have to guard the golden fleece in the tree, right? Now people are gonna want to come steal it. Like it's a golden fleece. So the different of the campers are like doing guard duty. It's Annabeth's turn. Grover comes running down. Percy, something has happened at the tree. We have to go. And he's like, "Oh my god, something happened to Annabeth. Oh shit, oh shit." So Percy's going up. There's a camper in armor holding a girl next to a girl who's on the ground unconscious. And he's like, "Oh my god, Annabeth's been attacked." He's like gonna freak out. And then he realizes, hey, no, Annabeth is a girl in armor. I don't know this girl lying on the ground. Like, this is a stranger to me. I've never met this girl. And everybody is just like, how is this possible? Like, even, like, no one... Like, Percy runs over and is like, this girl's unconscious. She's clearly been through a lot. Like, he scoops her up and is like, no one's helping her like they're supposed to, right? Like, even Chiron is just, like...
Yeah.
Completely dumbfounded.
Just stunned.
Like, stunned. And Percy's like, we need to she needs nectar and ambrosia. We got to do something. And she's like, what? Who are you? He's like, hey, no, you're okay. My name's Percy. You're okay now. Who are you? And then he looks into her eyes, her electric blue eyes. And he's like, oh, shit, I know who you are. And she's like, I'm Talia, daughter of Zeus. And the line is like, oh yeah, because that's the last line. But right before that, it says... Because they realized, what Luke had said earlier, that after they healed Kronos, they were going to give them the Golden Fleece. Because Kronos wanted this to happen. He wanted another child of the Big Three. Because now we know there is a prophecy that the next child of the Big Three who turns 16 will either save or destroy Mount Olympus.
World. And essentially the world.
Yeah, and so Chiron hasn't killed Percy yet because he's thinking maybe he can get Percy on his side, but that's not working out. So they get them to get the Golden Fleece to save Talia because now, hey, this might be our demigod. This might be our child who's going to be 16, and we can control her.
Yeah, and Thalia is obviously a lot closer to Luke.
Yeah, a lot closer to Luke.
Which is weird, because if Luke played his cards right, he could have turned Percy.
Yeah, right. He was a little too, He was
a little too quick to kill Percy.
Yeah, a little weirdly quick to kill Percy. I'm pretty sure Kronos didn't appreciate that. But Percy has this line when he's like, even Chiron, Annabeth, and Grover, who should have been celebrating this moment, were too shocked, thinking about what it might mean for the future. And I was holding someone who was destined to be my best friend, or possibly my worst enemy. I'm Talia, said the girl, daughter of Zeus.
Meanwhile, they're just, acquaintances who begrudge each other.
Okay.
Meanwhile, it's they just kind of deal with each other and they don't actually hate each other. They do respect each other because, they come from the most powerful gods in existence.
That makes me so mad. Because that line,
that line could have been great. That could have been such a good fucking line.
It's such a good ending. I think it's my favorite of the whole series because it's just mind blown, total game changer. I didn't see that coming.
No one fucking saw it coming.
That's amazing. A best friend, mortal enemy. What? And as you see, JJ, They're acquaintances. They're like work friends.
Yeah, they're work friends who like they are cordial around each other. I mean, like later they do become like closer.
I think they like each other well. I think they get on each other's nerves because they're really alike.
Yeah, because
that's what Annabeth says early on. Because when they confront Luke, and Annabeth is so angry, obviously for a lot of reasons, but he poisoned Talia's tree, and how could you kill Talia? How could you do the last thing? How could
you try to fucking kill?
Yeah, like she sacrificed herself to save the camp. How could you destroy it like that? And Luke says that, well, Talia would have been on my side had she survived, because fuck the gods. And this is like really concerning to Annabeth, and so when she's talking to Percy about it later, Percy's like, well, do you think that's true? And she says to Percy, like, Talia is so much like you. Like, you two are so alike. It's weird. And so she asks him, like, you get mad at your dad sometimes, right? And he's like, yeah. I was like, well, Talia would get mad at hers, but do you ever get mad enough that you would betray them inside with Luke? He's like, but no, never. And she's like, okay, well, then Talia wouldn't either. So they are so very much alike.
Yeah.
Because they've got a lot of issues.
They got a lot of issues. A lot of daddy issues.
Yeah.
I mean, but Talia also has mommy issues.
Yeah, Talia's mom is not Sally Jackson.
No, not at all. It's just like, honestly, the exact opposite of Sally Jackson. Just want.
I can't be too hard on this woman. I don't know what her life is like. I'm not going to judge her, but I'm going to say she's not Sally Jackson. The only reason Percy makes it through this is because his mom was
the best fucking mom.
Yeah, his mom was able to give him a stable enough foundation that kept him grounded, because I feel like if he didn't have that, he may have sided with Luke. Like, he may have been like, let's destroy it. Like, because Percy has these moments where he thinks about how, like, Poseidon kind of, like, ditched him.
The gods haven't given me anything.
Yeah, I don't know.
Like, that's the thing. It's like the gods haven't given me anything. But the thing about that is he was raised by Sally Jackson, who didn't want anything.
He didn't want anything. Yeah, and taught him to be self-sufficient. But he thinks about, like, and even I think that almost would have, like, switched him is, like, how his mom had to struggle because Poseidon got her pregnant, left her with a demigod baby that every monster wanted to kill, and to protect her son, she marries this abusive asshole Gabe and has to put up with him for who knows how long to protect her kid. And Poseidon never does anything, and she doesn't have any money. She just wants to go, she's like, and Sally loves her son. So this is
100%. She holds nothing against Percy.
No, but like, if anything was going to get Percy to like go on Luke's side, he really should have played up how
much Poseidon ditched his mom. Help.
Yeah, and how much his mom had to go through. But
like,
Luke
again, if Luke played his cards right, could have gotten Percy.
Could have gotten, like, play the long game instead of like rushing ahead. Doesn't do well, but doesn't matter. But even if he tried that, I don't think it would have worked on Percy because of the person Sally is, because she is a tough lady, because she puts up with a lot, because she's strong, because she cares about her son, because she never wanted anything from Poseidon, and because she doesn't have any resentment towards it.
Yes.
And that's not to say the other parents who have resentments are wrong or bad for doing that, because they are only human.
Yeah. Well,
but
I think that's
mad.
You're mad?
I'm mad that these last sentences were so good, and they
didn't amount to nothing.
I guess nothing's ever like my best friend or my worst, and then we just get rid of Talia after the next book. I want more Talia.
I think Talia's great. I think she's a lot of fun. The thing is, had we kept her, we would run into that issue where it's like the 16, like we don't interact with the Hunters of Artemis, because she joins the Hunters of Artemis in the next book.
Yeah. And
so and in doing so, because her birthday was like 3 days away, and she didn't want to turn 16, and she didn't want that fate, so she joins the Hunters of Artemis, in which they become immortal and never age. So she never turns 16. She's frozen at 15.
But she should be like 18 at this point.
She should be, but like trees age slower.
We'll talk about that next book, right? We'll talk, because Apollo gets into that, and they figured that out. But
yeah, she.
It's fine.
I like. So it's like,
like I said, she and Percy are so much alike. You want to have two of these characters running around together always, like that. As a reader,
and maybe not. And I bet like Thalia has like a ton of more powers that we just don't see, that she uses in the Hunters. But it's just like, where are they?
I don't fucking know. Where are the powers?
You never get to see them.
Where's the flying car, Tony?
Yeah. Meanwhile, Jason Gray's flying around, zapping people with lightning bolts. God, Jason's great though. I love him so much. Great though.
Okay, well, DJ, what do you like about Sea of Monsters? What makes it one of your favorites? What makes it special to you?
It makes it special to me because, again, like it was first introduction to the Odyssey, and like I think it's a very kid-friendly way to introduce you, because if you just start reading the Odyssey, you're probably not going to like it all too much. But when I got to like after reading that, and then I got to the unit on it in like I think freshman English, we touched down on the Odyssey. I'm like, oh man, the Sea of Monsters is just this book, and I was like super into it. And I had a good time. So it does hold like, and it's like, I don't know, after like the Lightning Thief, where it all kind of like just culminates in places that it like are just exist in the U.S. Going out to sea and like just seeing all these other things. And at the time, I was also super like into swimming and like all that bunch of stuff. I don't know.
You are Pisces,
so yeah, I like going onto the water, and I love the ocean. It's all great, and so that was just fun. And so I'm like, hell yeah. And so, yeah, it just like
it is because they're just purely fantasy places. These are all completely outside of any our world.
Yeah. Like, and then again, in the Lightning Thief, they go to like what, New Jersey, Las Vegas, Los Angeles, St. Louis, like all these places that like I could go visit, you know? Yeah, it's fun. But then this is like, again, like the first, like, it's just an ocean with fucking monsters and like
it's truly
places that you can actually visit. Yeah, it's a lot of fun. And so I hold that pretty dear.
Nice. What's your favorite part of this book?
Honestly, the sirens. I thought that was a really good like character building area. And that was just so fucking good.
Hashtag Percybeth forever.
Honestly, like if you believe in Percy H.L., keep listening because we need your view. But come on.
Look, there is no ship shaming here. Unless you ship Rhea and Nico, in which case, fuck all the way off.
Yeah, Reyna and Nico. That's a weird, because like Nico's gay.
I don't care for this ship.
I didn't even know people ship that. That's weird.
Instagram keeps showing me this hashtag. I'm like, I don't want it. I wish I could block hashtags.
I will absolutely shame Percy H.L. Darien may not.
What?
Darien may not shame it. I will.
Oh my god. I'm taking all this out.
What was your favorite part of the book, Darien?
Oh, well, I kind of already lost my mind over talking about how much I love those last sentences. So I do think maybe it was just Talia showing up at the end, because it is just like,
it's so cool. It is super dope.
Who is this? My new favorite character? Yes, hi, I love you. Yeah, she is my favorite character, though.
Talia is so fucking cool. And I do like seeing her, like, every time she shows up, and any point in the books, it's always so much fun.
Yeah. Oh, I was supposed to talk about the cover.
Oh, yeah. You wanted to talk about the cover. You said you had something to talk about.
Just, okay. And I might end up racing this episode's running, like, real long at this point. But, so the cover, which I do love, because if you know the original U.S. cover, it's the, like, rickety rope bridge on Polyphemus Island. The ship is in the background. You see the silhouettes of like Grover, Percy, and Annabeth running across, and then just like a massive Cyclops eye watching them. Great cover, like very like evocative. Oh, yeah. The problem with that is it always makes me think that Cyclops is way bigger than he actually is.
Oh yeah, and no, so Cyclops is roughly 3 times the size of a general dude.
Yeah, and that's big, but that's not. His eye is larger than a cavern big.
Yeah.
And so
that's the cavern he falls in.
Yeah. So when they fight him, my brain is always like, he's too big. How are they even holding? Like, nah, he's not like James and the Beanstalk giant big. He's like, you put 3 quarterbacks on top of each other's shoulders big. Which
it's weird, because I'm looking at like other covers of this book. And like some of them show where he's just like, 3 times the size of a normal dude. But then there's like 2 more that he's just fucking massive. Like even here, let me send you the link for this one. Hold on.
Okay, thank you. Oh yeah, I've seen this one. This is the new one.
He's still big in that one.
Yeah.
Which it's weird, but like as you said, he's not that big in the books. They don't even describe him as that big.
No, he's not a giant. He's a Cyclops. There's a difference.
Yeah.
Not saying it's a bad cover. I think it's more just like symbolic of like.
Oh yeah, of how much he looms over like this whole book essentially.
Yes, exactly. All the times like Grover sends the empathy link, and it's like always here, and this is like the threat. Yeah. It's that, but I definitely in my brain had to remind myself he's not book cover big. He's just big.
Yeah.
Percy's fought bigger.
Percy's fought much bigger, in fact.
Yeah, that's my favorite part is when Talia shows up because she honestly is my favorite character. And so
she's so fun.
I'm a
She's
little
such a
bit
good
like
character.
folding back. I guess I had to pick one that's just in the book. Tantalus going back to hell is pretty great.
That was a lot of fun.
Like, we talk about how the underworld isn't hell, but like,
It's
go to
got
hell,
like
Tantalus.
punishment areas.
Yeah.
Because Tantalus obviously ends up in the fields of punishment.
Yeah, where he
So,
belongs.
Oh yeah, 100%. So that's always fun.
Yeah.
But anyway, I think that's probably the end of this.
I think it's the end of this. Yeah. So, hey, welcome back.
That's our
Season
recap
2,
of
everybody.
Season 2. That's our recap of the Sea
Yep.
of Monsters. Thank you so much for joining us.
Yep, we've got lots and lots of really great myths to talk about. I've got a whole list. We're going to get into it. But first, we are going to talk about Ithaca, or specifically Ithaquack.
It's a quack. Yeah, we'll have fun with that.
Yep, we're going to do a very special episode next week before we fully jump into all the myths that are in this book, just because we have a really fun guest and a really fun topic, and I'm just really excited to talk about it. So, not
Heck
next
yeah.
week, but when I think we
Whenever
should...
the next episode comes out.
Yes, I'm looking at my calendar right now, because I think at the end of the episode, we should say what the next one is and when it comes out to get people excited.
Okay.
So, yep, our next episode will be up on Tuesday, June 8th, and we will be going to Duckburg, I think.
Heck yeah. That'll be fun. Anyway, you guys have a great day. Thank you so much for listening. It means a lot to us.
Thank you all. Thanks for tuning back in for this new season. We're really excited. We look forward to diving into the Odyssey and a little bit of the Argonauts, but mostly the Odyssey.
Yes. All right. Thank you guys so much. You guys have a wonderful day.
And until next time, don't be like Zeus.
Don't be like Zeus.
Podcast of Poseidon is created and hosted by Darien and DJ Smartt. It's edited by Darien Smartt.
Our music is Athens Festival by Martin Hain, and our cover art is by Audrey Miller. You can find her on Instagram at bombshellnutshellart.
Like the show? Ready for more? Support Podcast of Poseidon on Patreon. Just $1 gets you exclusive bonus content. Find out more at patreon.com/podcastofposeidon.
Can't spare the drachmas? You can support the show by leaving a review on Apple Podcast or by sharing us with your friends. Find all of our episodes and episode transcripts at podcastofposeidon.com.
Thanks for listening.